girls. Long time no see. I miss having our classes. So I decided that since I'm housebound and you guys are housebound, that maybe we'd get together and we'd paint. So if you'd like to finish your geraniums with me, I'm going to take you step by step in this little video so that you can complete your painting. If you have any questions, you can always shoot me an email or give me a call, and I'll help you through that as well. But so if you just set up your paints, your brushes, take out your paint supplies and get yourself all set up, and I'll do the same here and I'll start the video. So see you in a few minutes. Okay, if you're ready to paint, I just put some paint out on my palette. I mixed up black and white to a medium gray. I have a little burnt umber, some white, here's my black, yellow oxide, Hansa yellow, and this is a little raw umber. And of course, you need to have your dish out with your extender. And get your paper towels also. Okay, I think we're just about ready to start. You'll notice we have a nice white piece of molding up in the top, and I'll show you the finished one. It's been shadowed at the top, so that's what we're going to do, is shadow that, and the bottom portion will leave a little bit lighter. It'll be kind of a white color. So let's get into it. Okay, we're going to take our medium gray and we're going to start putting in. Now this is a straight piece of molding, so we'll put the color in. And I want a little bit of a wet background so that I can pull my shadows and my highlights in, so I'm going to do this in gray. And I'm just using a number 6 filbert. Okay. Okay, now you'll pinch wipe your brush out. Get my paper towel, pinch wipe your brush. And you're going to pick up a little bit of black, and we're going to lay the black color in at the top. This is going to be the darkest portion of this strip. I'm going to lay that in. It can be streaky. This is an old piece of molding, so a few lights and darks in it will be fine. And I'm going to pick up a little white for some highlight in here. Might work this white in just a little bit, because this is where the sun is catching. And then I'll leave a little white on the top that's a little brighter. So start out with just a small amount, work that in a little, and then come back with a nice strong white. I'm going to pick up a little more black, because underneath this flower on this edge, this will be in shadow. Okay, I'm going to streak some more black here. I want this edge that leads into this dark area to be nice and dark. Okay, and just to add a little bit of brown tint, I'm going to pinch wipe my brush and pick up some burnt umber. And I'm going to throw a little warm brown into this. Don't go into the shadow, go into the gray area. But just so it has a little color into it, it's kind of cool. So we'll warm it up with a little bit of burnt umber. That's not the raw umber, it's the burnt umber. Raw umber has black, so we want it warm. Okay, now to set this back into the frame, I'm going to take my round brush. Let's see if you can see the round brush. and I'll moisten it with a little bit of extender so I get it to a point. And I'm going to take black and I'm going to go down this edge with a little line going down. This will push it back into the molding. Pinch white. Now I'm going to do a little bit on the other side as well. You're not on the dark portion. Paint right on the strip with just a little extra. This will clean up that edge. Give it a nice dark straight edge. There we go. Now if that line got wobbly at all, which it looks like mine did, I'm going to pinch wipe my brush with extender, clean it a little bit, and then I might just come back into that wet paint and I can clean that edge up just a little bit if it wasn't just right. Okay, now I'm happy with that. I may come back in later after it sets up and maybe put in just a touch more white to make it look really bright and sunny. Remember, the light is coming across this, hitting here and catching here and on the wood part. So we want to have that to be the lightest. Okay. All right. And taking this round brush, I can streak in, because woodwork would be kind of streaky. Can streak in a little bit extra black. Just a few real good darks. All right, that's all I need. I don't want to do too much on that. So the top is nice and dark. All right, that will work. Now there is, if you look at the way this design goes, the molding goes straight through. Now this should be white on yours. I took the liberty of washing that in before I decided I was going to do a video. I started washing. I said, wait a minute, I could put this on camera and they could see it. So take your burnt umber and do a wash, or just paint in your burnt umber so that this strip, whether it be gold under there or white, I don't know what you left off with, but we want this nice and dark. Not as dark, it'll be darker than this strip in here. So darken that up real nice and dark with burnt umber. That's in shadow, so we don't see a lot of that. It's just dark. I'm not going to do anything more to it than just leave it dark. Pushes it way into the background. Okay, I'm going to go back over this little corner over here. I want a little more burnt umber in here. And I'll just pull that out with my finger. Nice dark right there. That's good. This is finished. Up top is finished. This is done. You don't have too much to do to finish this up. So that's why I'm anxious to get this done with you, because I'm sure this was bothering me sitting around and all I was doing was looking at an unfinished piece. So I'm sure you will be happy to get yours done too. You can check to make sure you're nice and dark on this side here. And we do want a little bit of burnt umber right on the edge of that pot. It's where the pot's rolling under. So you can throw just a little bit of burnt umber under that. Okay, now we are going to work on the table. Okay, I'm going to adjust this camera just a little bit. Okay, the left side of this, the left side is going to be in shadow. So we're going to take our black and white, mix up a medium gray, medium to dark gray. Okay, and I'll show you my gray. Because we're going to need a dark gray and the medium that we mixed up before. Okay, let me show you that. Okay, I have my medium gray I mixed up earlier, and I picked up black and I made a nice dark gray. Okay, so we're going to go over to the left side, and there is a little bit of a pattern line. I'm just going to show you where I'm talking about. That goes in front of the pot and over. Can you see all that nice line there? Okay, that's where the light catches, and it will go here, and then it becomes shadow at an angle going back there. So why don't you take a little bit of your dark gray, and you can find your pattern line, or if you can't see it, make one up, just so you have a nice highlight the area that we'll put that's going to stay white, or we're going to really whiten it. Okay, so now I'm going to take my medium gray, and the other areas that are not that centerpiece will be painted in gray. That's the medium gray that you mixed up earlier. We're going to add tints and accents to this, but just get your base color in. Okay? And I'll come down here. You want to try to keep this edge a little clean, because this is the top edge of this table. If it isn't perfect, I'll show you how to clean that up with a little water in a few minutes. But at least you have somewhat of a nice edge. I got a little carried away. Mine got a little wider than I want, so I will back that up a little bit with some water. Okay, and I'm going to put a little bit of gray right along this, I'm going to call that a wall edge. A little bit here. Just a little bit. We're going to mix that with some white. Okay. Now this edge that we've created with the white, we are going to, or we've left an area of white. Now we're going to take that white on your brush. This is about a number 8 filbert, and I'm going to lay in white. I'm going to lay in white. Now do a nice edge under your pot. We'll put some shadowing under that after, but get a nice clean edge for your pot. And bring the white over to this corner where we have laid in a little gray. Okay, now I'm going to pinch white my brush. I don't need to add any more white, so I'm taking the white out of the brush. Now where I want the gray to blend with the white, I'm just going to push the white up and back a little bit into that, wipe again, and I'm going to soften that. It'll get a little lighter, but that's okay. But we're going to blend this area in. Pinch wipe again. There. Now we have it where it's just a little bit of white, turns to, the gray gets a little lighter over there, but it looks nice. You've got a little gray behind it. Now you're going to take just a little bit of yellow oxide. We're going to finish this little corner right here because we're going to go over there and work in a minute. Just take a little yellow oxide. You don't need much. This is the warmth of the sun coming through the window. And we're just going to throw in a little bit of highlight. And it comes all the way over. It's a little bit of yellow tone, yellow oxide. It's not raw sienna. Raw sienna's too dark. And it's not Hansa yellow. Make sure you picked up the right color yellow. And we're going to pull it over here. Now, what are we going to do with this line here? See that hard edge? Now we're going to pinch wipe your brush. Not putting any paint down. Now we're going to move that color around. Bring the white into the gray a little bit. Pinch white. Now move the gray down into the white a little bit. Kind of going back and forth with the two colors. And they blend. Okay, it softens that back edge. Now, if any time I'm going too fast for you, you just stop your video, catch up, and then turn me back on again. That's what's so nice about working with me on a video, because you can pause me as you need to. But you see how that's nice? Whoops, get that paint off my fingers. See how that's nice and softened in there? Okay, now down in here, we're gonna do the same thing with softening. If for some reason your gray has gotten a little dry, I'm going to take a little more gray, put it back in so that it's wet. Because sometimes I'm working and I talk too much or it starts to dry. So I want to be able to. Now I'm going to take some black and I'm going to shadow right here on this edge, really dark, right in front of that white. Okay, it's nice and dark. It can actually go all the way over to this wall over here. Okay, then pinch wipe your brush. See how I'm blending it nicely? Just a little into the gray, pulling it out. Okay, so now that's softened. Now we have to go up to the white edge. That's still a little hard. So pinch wipe your brush out real good. And we're going to go into the white and soften that edge. Pinch wipe again if you need to. You don't want any excess paint on the brush. You're just kind of smoothing that edge. Okay, just back and forth. Just smooth the edge. Okay, there. That's good. Don't worry about up here. We'll get to that with another color. All right, now I'm going to pinch wipe and I'm going to bring some of this yellow up into our little highlight. This is where the sun is catching. Okay, I'm going to put a little more yellow oxide in here. I don't want it to be too chalky. A little highlight's good, but it's better to be just a softened yellow touch. Okay, now I like the way that looks. I think I'd like a little more dark in here, just a little bit more. Okay, now I'm seeing this is dragging a little. My gray is a little bit dry. So I'm going to moisten my gray again. A little bit extra gray in there because I'm going to dirty this up to make it look like a piece of wood. Okay, just pinched wiped and pulling this color through. Now I'm going to bring some burnt umber. Okay, burnt umber. Looks like knotted wood. Can leave a couple of big pieces, a couple of little ones. Over here I've got a real nice big squish of color. Okay. You know what wood looks like. It's kind of knotty, grainy. Okay, now I wipe out my brush. I just applied the color where I want it. Now I have to go back and say, okay, did I make it a little too sharp? Too many edges. I like that big one. I might just leave that big one alone. If you didn't get a big one, put another plop of paint down. You can adjust as needed. And I'll just soften it away. Oh, I lost that one, and I think I want this one a little dark too. Using raw umber, you can go back in with a nice dark. Push it up, pull it out. Get all kinds of interesting wood knots and stuff. We don't want to put too much interest down here, but a little bit is good. Okay. And it looks like there's a crack in the wood, or makes it interesting. Now we still have to put just a little bit of highlight, so I'm picking up, pinch wipe your brush again, pick up just a little bit of white. That's a lot of white, so I'll soften it into that wet gray we just laid in there. That's what's so great about these paints, is you can lay your color down into the wet paint, pinch wipe, and come back and soften it in. And that's the oil techniques, which are so fun to do. Okay, so I softened it a little bit. I got a little highlight going there, maybe a little bit on this end. Noticing over here that it's a little light, and that would be my black. Need a little more black. Excuse me 1 minute while I grab some black. I'm hoping you can see all this detail. Okay, I want a little more dark here. There we go. I got a nice dark that time. Sometimes you just have to wait till the paint sets just a little bit. It starts to tack up just a little bit, and then you can throw that extra added dark or extra added highlight in, and then it's more visible. Okay. Oh, a little too dark. Didn't pinch wipe my brush enough, so I'll blend it in. There we go, all gone. All right, now up on the top part over here, it's real dark because it's going back into that wood. So you're gonna take your black and white again and get a really, really dark charcoal black, or charcoal gray, I should say. And I'm gonna move this over a little so you can see it. Sorry about the moving. There we go. First, start out with a little moist gray paint in the back if it's dried, which mine has. Okay, there's a little wet paint. Now I'm going to take a little bit of my black, and I'm going right up to this strip of molding here with black. Pulling it in. It's going to be next to the pot where it'll be very dark. Really dark back here. Sorry, I'm going to have to set this up a little different next time. I'm a little crowded here. That to stay white. There we go. All right, so this is nice and dark. Take a little bit of raw umber, and up in this molding up here, put a little bit of raw umber, and right at the bottom edge of that, I'm gonna make that real nice and dark where the two darks meet. A little brown, a little black, and you can hardly see where it meets. So just a little bit of black or a little bit of raw umber to define a little bit of a separation between the table and the molding. I think you can see that now. Okay. All right, and you can tint a little bit of the brown into the shadow of the black if you'd like. All right, back over on this side, we need to put our gray mixture in. I'm going to use the dark gray mixture, just a little bit of dark gray in here. because this is like this piece over here, this is in shadow. So we're just going to put in that dark. Just going to put that dark in. Okay, now I'm pinch wiping my brush. Might even take a little extender to clean it out a little bit. Now I'm going to take some of my raw umber and we're going to add some brown tints over here. And your burnt umber will go in the front of the pot. It's on the white. Might need a round brush or a liner to lay this little line in. And what I do is I clean my brush out. I'm going to clean it out real good because I've got white there I'm working with. So use a little extender. And just that edge, we leave the dark under there, but we soften it. This line should be quite defined. From the pot. There is a little definition of a line over on this side from the pot. Okay, my highlight on that pot could be a little bit brighter. So how do I do that? Sorry about the phone ringing, I didn't plan that. I was hoping Steve inside might hear the phone and maybe pick it up. Didn't happen. He's watching TV. Okay, so I take a little bit of extender because I would like that highlight just a little peppier. A little bit of extender, a little bit of yellow oxide. And we're going to make this just a little peppier here. And I'm not going to do any brush blending. I'm just going to use my finger. A little bit up here. I'm going to make sure my top edge here has some yellow on it. Just catching a little bit of light. Okay, that, and the bottom portion, the very bottom of this, I guess it's a shelf. I'm going to take some raw sienna. I think raw sienna is a good color here. It's a little thin, so taking a little bit more raw sienna out, I'm going to paint this again because it's a little thin, so a second application is a good thing. And then we'll put some wood grain in that. Okay, there we go. We're nice and wet with raw sienna. And because we want that to be dark, I'm going to start out with burnt umber. And this is a little bit wide of a strip underneath here of shadow. If you got a wide shelf, this is where you can cut your shelf back a little, and I did. My shelf grew a little, so I'm going to probably take it down a notch by pushing this dark in there. There we go. It's a little bit much paint there, but I'll move it down. Okay. And the bottom of this shelf could actually, you know, have some ripples. If it's an old piece of wood, it could have a chunk out. You know, that's your option to be creative can see how nice and dark. It really pushes this back and brings this light gray piece of the shell forward. Okay. So a little darker. Blend that in. Pinch wipe your brush after you lay the color in. And you can put a few streaks. If you have a wider area, just streak it a little more than I am. I don't have much here. I had more space at the top. So I'm just going to streak it up a little bit. And I don't think we're going to do too much highlighting on that because it's not in the focal point. We want it to drop off down there. Okay, I think we're pretty good. Now, if you have any question, oh, I see one area where I didn't get my gray. On this bottom edge, I put a little gray smear on this rim, but right on the bottom edge here, I put a little bit of that medium gray, and that will just pull that out away from the pot a little bit. Now, I got a lot in there, so I'm probably going to take a little extender and try to take some of that up. I think I got a little carried away. A little bit is good, but I think I put little too much. But that's what's so nice about this extender is I can just moisten it and lift a little bit if I got carried away. All right, that's good. So just so that this is a little bit of a gray edge, it makes it raise up away from the pot. And you want to make sure you get a nice good dark underneath. One other thing I think I did was over on this side. You want to shape your pot, but you wouldn't have a lot of light in there. So I threw in a little touch of raw sienna. Just a little speck to define that corner. You can also do a little bit of that over on this side. Just a smidge. And that just gives you your shape of your pot. Okay, if you have any questions, please email me or call me. If your leaves don't have enough brown tones in it, extender and some burnt umber. I like to glaze over. Oops, that had gray in it. We don't want gray there. My gray and my brown were touching on my palette. Sorry about that. But gray, brown tints on here are a good thing. Okay. I'm going to put the original one down again so you can see the finished one. That's all varnished and nice. And I'll let you take a look at that. You can freeze the screen or print it or whatever you need to do to finish, but that's pretty much it. So, until we get together and paint, hopefully it's going to be soon. When they say we can resume classes again, we'll start our the Italian villa. But right now, this is finished, and I hope to see you soon. Let's see if I can. I'm trying to. Okay, that's it for now. I hope you enjoyed our little video class, and I'm hoping we will be painting together real soon. If you have any questions, give me a call or send me an email and snap a picture of what you've done and let me see how they've turned out. And I hope everybody's staying well and healthy. Stay in the house if you can and do lots of painting. I'm sure you have things that you've always wanted to paint. So this is a great opportunity to get something done. So give me a call and I will be in touch soon, and hopefully we'll be painting together real soon. Take care. Bye-bye now.